What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kai Rogus bringing you another episode of Tier Lists. It's been way too long of a minute since we've done a tier list episode. The last one we did was actually our most popular tier list episode on the YouTube channel, where we ranked every single superhero movie ever made, more or less. I'm sure we missed a couple of outliers, but it had a lot of them. And that was a fun list to make, and it's been way too long since we've done another tier list. So I'm bringing you another episode. This time, I'm not sure if we're going to be doing multiple lists, just this one, what other lists we're going to do, but we're going to be starting out with ranking every single Fortnite location. Is this ever? I don't really know what this is. I think it has all of like Chapter 1, Chapter 2. Most of the ones I know. There's even some of these that I don't know. I don't think it has like Chapter 5 or anything like that. But we're going to rank them, and that's what we're doing. So let's just jump into it. We're going to go, I think this is listed in alphabetical order. So let's get into it. Starting out with Anarchy Acres. I'm not a super big fan of the farm drops. I know some people that are, particularly, looks like we got Rambo in chat. I know like some Fatal Fields, Anarchy Acres, they're pretty much like the exact same to me. I think I'd actually prefer Anarchy Acres over Fatal Fields, but I don't love either of them. I think it's a solid C tier for me. Believer Beach. I actually do kind of like Believer Beach. It's kind of like, it felt like Chapter 2, I believe's version of like a Paradise Palms. Solid big tower, city type of vibe, but not too crazy. I'm going to go Believer Beach in a solid B tier. Now we've got Boney Burbs. I don't know if I know for sure what Boney Burbs is. I feel like I kind of remember it from like that one dinosaur season. I didn't really play it much. I'm giving Boney Burbs C tier. Camp Cuddle. Camp Cuddle. Was this the one? I think I remember Camp Cuddle. I didn't hate it. It wasn't anything crazy good. I almost feel compelled to like want to put it in like a B tier, but I don't know if it's that good. I'm going to give Camp Cuddle a C tier, but higher than the other two. Caddy Corner. Oh, I remember Caddy Corner. Caddy Corner, that's also going C tier right there. Starting out with lots of C tiers, but you know what? It is what it is. Chonker Speedway. I'm not going to lie. I didn't really like Chonker Speedway. Caddy Corner S. I am remembering correctly. I believe I am. Lance, that's from that remember that old clip of me impersonating Ali A? We landed Caddy Corner that game, right? That's the place I'm thinking of. Shockwave grenade launcher. Yes, okay. I'm making sure that's the right place. Okay. All right, just for that clip, I'm putting it B tier. Because that's so funny. Or at least it was at the time. Chonker Speedway. And yeah, I'm trying to keep it a little bit diverse here because Chonker Speedway, that's freaking C tier. I mean, you got good cars, which I guess was okay. Is it B tier for getting vehicles and having the movement? I'm not even looking at this like objectively, like, well, it has this much loot and this much whatever. I'm literally just going, what does my gut feel about this location? I'll put Chonkers in B for now. We might come back to that. Colossal Stadium. I actually thought the stadium was super cool. As far as the drop goes, I don't think it was amazing, but just the concept, a giant coliseum, I thought was super fun, super cool. For that, I don't think it can be A tier. It's got to go B tier. I'll put it right behind Believer Beach for now. I can't remember most of these. A lot of these are like Season 2, it looks like, which are like kind of hard for me to remember too. Colossal Crops. I mean, it just feels like the exact same as Boney Burbs to me. Condo Canyon. Solid B tier. Coney Crossroads. I remember Coney Crossroads. Coney Crossroads. That's the one with like the bridge in the middle of it, right? I definitely played some games at Coney Crossroads. It was decent enough. But so many of these feel like C tier so far. I'll put it like right there. Coral Castle. I actually remember Coral Castle, and I liked Coral Castle a decent enough. So I'm going to go B tier. I'll put it right there. I thought it was an interesting concept. It's kind of annoying with all the water. Coral Castle F. Kind of annoying with all the water, but it was memorable. I can actually remember Coral Castle. Can't remember anything else. Fun, but a terrible spot strategically. That's how I feel about it. I thought it had horrible loot, but it was memorable and had some fun moments. Corny Complex. That's just the corniest name ever. Not memorable at all. It's going D. Covert Cavern. I feel like I remember Covert Cavern a little bit better. And golly, so many of these are hard to remember though. I'm gonna go B. Craggy Cliffs. Sure, I'll throw you in B. Dirty Docks. Man, there might be a point in this list that I like tear everything down a step. Dirty Docks. Okay, I'm dropping Craggy Cliffs. I'm sorry. Covert Cavern. If I can even remember you, I thought I liked you. I'm dropping Chonkers to high C. Dirty Docks can be low B. That bitch was from Dirty Docks. Alright. Doom's Domain. Is that a real named location? Or is that like made up? D. What the frick are you? Alright. I'm probably gonna make people mad here because our next two are Dusty Depot and Dusty Divot. Here's the deal. I know so many people have such fond memories of Dusty Depot, and I don't know why. It's in the middle of the map, so you get rotated the flip on, and it's 3 freaking garages with like 1 gun each. I'm sorry. I think Dusty Depot is a pretty trash landing spot because it's an iconic landing spot. I'll give it C tier, but I'm sorry. And Dusty Divot. I mean, I don't even want to put Dusty Depot in C tier, honestly. I'm going to stick to my guns. Dusty Divot is very memorable because of the whole, like, meteor crashing thing, and it's an actually, like, better spot. And when it grew the trees, if you needed mats, you could get it. But it's still, like, a hole in the ground that you get ganged up on. So Dusty Divot's actually C. Depot, I'm sorry, you're going D. Honestly, if you weren't, like, a nostalgic spot, you'd be so hard F tier. Fatal Fields, you're a C tier. You're the exact same thing as Anarchy Acres, although I think I prefer Anarchy a little bit. They're going next to each other. Flush Factory! Fun fact, Flush Factory was the first location I ever landed in my very first game of Fortnite on my freaking Xbox in 2017 in Season 1. I landed Flush Factory. And it's a decent spot, but just for that, it's gotta go A tier at least. Definitely my favorite spot of all that we've looked at so far. Flush Factory is a W, that's for sure. Frenzy Farm, that's like Anarchy and Fatal, but like not as iconic. So it's going ahead above Corny Complex. Frosty Flights. So the thing about Frosty Flights is it had the planes, which is unique. When they added mechs, it had the mechs, and that freaking sucked. Remember this Frosty Flights is an S? I was thinking more like C at best. But I'll go C. Gotham City? I don't think I played the game when this was a thing, but that's an A tier. I mean, Gotham City? Come on now. That's an A tier. Greasy Grove. Alright, a little bit of a controversial take, maybe. I don't like Greasy Grove. TBH. I know a lot of people love it. I know Rambo, you and chat love it. Also, I don't know if people are going to vibe with the bangs or not. My hair usually looks different. I don't really know what to do with it right now. I don't like Greasy Grove. One of my brothers loves Greasy Grove. I know Rambo loves Greasy Grove. I know a lot of people love Greasy Grove. I don't, man. I don't think it's like the worst spot. Like, I wouldn't put it in D. But it's like C tier, like here for me. Greasy's overrated. I could not agree more. Alright. Happy Hamlet. I actually really liked Happy Hamlet back in the day. When it was at a place, I actually really liked it. That's a solid top of B tier for me. I really liked Happy Hamlet. That was a fun spot. Because it never felt like it was too crowded. And it had a lot of buildings, decent loot. It was a good spot. Let's go, baby! Alright, I might be alone in this take. But I freaking love Haunted Hills. It is my all-time favorite solo drop spot. I admit, in squads, not enough loot. But my favorite solo drop spot of all time, Haunted Hills. That's a personal Kairogus S tier. Haunted Hills is D and I'm being nice. Nah, Haunted Hills is where it's at, bro. It's so good. Now let's get wild. Holly Hatchery? What the frick is that? And it's got cubes? I did not like the cubes. D tier. In fact, it feels disrespectful to Dusty Depot to have that in the same tier. I'm going F tier. Screw it. F tier for Holly Hatchery. Now we got Holly Hedges. Holly Hedges? Sure, you're D tier. I'll put you between Corny Complex and Frenzy Farm. Hunter's Haven. I vaguely remember this spot, but I don't remember it super specifically. We'll go D. Sorry. Junk Junction. Now, I've landed Junk Junction a lot because one of my brothers who I played a lot with, it's his favorite spot. I think Junk Junction is okay. I think it's alright. On its own, in a vacuum, if it was just the spot and nothing else, I'd probably give it like C tier. But it is literally right next buddy to Haunted Hills. So if we're jumping junk, I can just sneak on over to Haunted Hills and be right there. And I love that. Plus Junk Junction, just that corner of the map was a great, if you wanted, I like to land tilted a lot, but if you wanted an edge of the map game, Junk Junction was a solid choice. So for all of that, I'm going to give it a solid B, like right there. Junk Junction isn't great either, but better than Haunted Hills for sure. Don't disrespect Haunted, bro. Come on. Lazy Lagoon. This is the pirate ship place. I did not like this place, but the pirate ship was actually cool. It was sick. And because of that, I think that it gets up to B. And I think, so like, the Coliseum, Colossal Coliseum, I think is a little bit of like a gimmicky drop spot. Not gimmicky, but it's just like, the Coliseum is cool, but the actual drop sucks. And I think the pirate ship is as cool as the Coliseum and is a little bit more useful. So I'm giving Lazy Lagoon above the Coliseum. Lazy Lagoon was overrated. I didn't love it, but I think it's solid right there. Lazy Lake. Oh, Lazy Lake. And then there's Lazy Links. Lazy Lake. I'm trying to remember exactly what the spot was. It was like, it replaced Loot Lake during that chapter, right? Isn't that how that went? It was the Tilted of Chapter 2. I'm about to say, I thought I remembered it being a big city. I do enjoy the big city spots. I'm going to give it a solid B tier. So I'll put it above Believer Beach. But Happy Hamlet was fun. I'm giving Happy Hamlet above it. Lazy Links. That's the golf spot. Lazy Links is okay. I feel like some people loved Lazy Links, and I was always like, on it. But it's definitely above C. I'll give it a B tier. And I'll put it right above Lazy Lagoon, below Junk. Feels like a solid spot. Leaky Lake. This is like Loot Lake, but it was like draining and drying up. I don't know. This is like a weird... Loot Lake has gone through some stages in life. Lazy Link just looked super cool at the time. ATKs there were mad hype in Season 5. That's true. I never... Like, Loot Lake has gone through a lot of junk over the years. And Leaky Lake was like... Just to me, felt like an awkward, like, teenage year of it. Like, it wasn't like what it was originally, but also, like, was still kind of worse than, like, other versions of it. Leaky Lake is D for me. I'll put it, like, there. Logjam Lumberyard. Okay, in the newer seasons, there weren't that many spots that I loved. Yeah, Loot Lake hit puberty. That was Leaky Lake. I actually really liked Logjam Lumberyard. If you needed wood, it was awesome. But even if you were playing no build, Logjam Lumberyard was just a vibe spot, bro. I don't think I can throw it in A. I don't know. It's right top of B for me with like Happy Hamlet. I really liked Logjam. I think this was Chapter 3, a Chapter 3 spot. And of the Chapter 3 spots, I think it was one of my favorites. And again, I might make a big adjustment to tweak some of this later. But for now, I'm going to put it right there. Lonely Lodge, bro. Alright. Lonely Lodge. Not a fantastic drop spot objectively, but the super tall, like, perch or whatever you call it, the little tower. Iconic. And then the actual lodge part, like the little office building, actually had really solid loot. Landing at the tall cabin was so lit. Was it like good? Not really, but I loved it, bro. So fun. I think I've got to give Lonely Lodge. I can't throw it up in A, I don't think. I'm going to throw it right up there with Logjam and Happy Hamlet, though. It was so fun. Loot Lake. Loot Lake. If they made it to where you could swim through it, would be so much better. But the little slow walking through the water is absolute garbage, bro. I can't go any higher than C tier. I wish I could, but I can't. I'll put it above Dusty Divot, though. Top C tier from Loot Lake. Lucky Landing. I don't know why, but the second they dropped Lucky Landing, I just liked it. I always got great loot. It was edge of the map, so it wasn't super sweaty and crowded all the time. I felt like Lucky Landing was like... Did you say weeb for Lucky Landing? Lucky Landing, I always thought... It was just like almost a guarantee for a solid game. I'm throwing Lucky Landing in A tier. And honestly, I don't know. Like, objectively, I would rather land at Lucky Landing than Flush Factory. Flush Factory is just the nostalgia spot because it's my first spot ever. But I'm putting Lucky Landing above it because I would rather land at Lucky Landing than Flush Factory, and that's just what it is. Mega Mall. This is like what Retail Row turned into, and it was just like a weird... They did this thing towards the end of, like, Chapter 1, and they kept it going for a while, where they just, like, made everything weirdly, like, sci-fi and technological looking. I just didn't vibe with it. And Mega Mall was, like, one of the staples of that, like, shift that the game took for a while. So it's just, like, a worse version of Retail. But it's not bad. I'll give it B tier, like... I'll put it right... here. Yeah, that and Neo Tilted. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The like weird, like futuristic-y look they gave everything. Just weird. Misty Meadows. C tier. Moisty Mire! Bro! Why did they do my boy like this? Moisty Mire. I'm not gonna act like it was the best spot ever. But Moisty Mire, an OG spot, freaking Rip Moisty, and it had the prison right next to it. So you were either landing prison next to Moisty, or you landed Moisty, and anywhere the zone was going, you're probably gonna head to the prison on your way out. And it was just, and the reason, I know prison was awesome too, and the reason why it makes me so sad is because they just did a whole freaking month of going through the OG seasons, and they didn't even go back far enough for us to get to revisit Moisty Mire, which I wanted to do so bad. So that makes me so sad. At the time, though, I'll admit, like, at the time, it was one of the less good. One of the worst. I don't want to say worst because that sounds bad. It was one of the less good spots. It was in the, like, bottom third of spots back when it existed. But it's an iconic spot, bro, and I freaking miss it. Moisty. I think I would like Moisty better than Lonely Lodge. TBH. I'm going top of B for Moisty. I miss it. Rip Moisty Mire. Moisty Palms. What the frick is Moisty Palms? Does anyone know what Moisty Palms is? I'm gonna be honest. I kind of feel bad throwing stuff into tiers that I don't actually know what it is. So honestly, I don't even know what Doom's Domain is. I really don't even know what Holly Hatchery is. I don't know what Moisty Palms is. Or Corny Complex, for that matter. I feel like I remember Holly Hedges, though. Me after your mom. Moisty Palms. Neo Tilted. I do like the big city locations. I think they need them. So it being a big city location inherently gives it some points for me, but it's one of my least favorite big city locations they've ever had. But I don't think I can put a big city location any lower than like B, because I would always, even though I don't like Neo Tilted, I would still put it like above all the stuff in C tier like any day. So I'm gonna have to put Neo Tilted like above Coral Castle, right under Catty Corner. That feels fine. Paradise Palms. That's an A tier spot for sure. I don't love it that much, to be honest. Like, it's a very good spot. It's solid. I like it, but I feel like some people, it's like one of their like top locations ever. And for me, it's just like a very good location. But like, I preferred Lucky. I like think more fondly of Flush Factory. But I'll put Paradise above Flush Factory because it is a better spot. So I'll put Paradise right there in A tier. That feels good. Pleasant Park. This is another one that some people love. It's like some people's like most favorite iconic location ever. For me, I always thought Pleasant Park was like, it's a decent spot objectively, but I just never like gravitated to it. But I can't argue that it's an A tier spot. So I'm going to give Pleasant Park, I'm putting it under Flush. Sue me. But it's A tier. It's A tier. Polar Peak. Okay. This is the first time they put a castle in the game. And y'all know who I am about that, like, castle medieval vibe. So I loved that. There's a time I had the Infinity Blade, which was, like, super controversial, broken weapon. But I don't even think of it like that. I'm giving Polar Peak. Can I go A tier? That's a little much. A tier's a little much. A tier's a little bit much. I'm gonna go B tier. I'll put it like right above Moisty. Pressure Plant. Was this what they did with the volcano divot at one point? I feel like it is. Pressure Plant. You can get a C tier. You can get a C tier, I suppose. Like there, right below Greasy. Retail Row. Retail Row, an amazing spot. One again. This was like, it's like the same level as Pleasant Park for me, except I liked Retail more. But it's one of those spots that's like, I know a lot of people, it's like their like go-to signature spot, and it's like objectively a good spot. You could make an argument that it could be S tier. I'm gonna put it A tier. I like Lucky Landing personally a little bit more, I think, but Retail is so solid. One of the most solid spots ever. So it's top of A tier for me for sure. At least for the time being. It could go up. Rickety Rig, I don't even know what that is, to BH. Risky Reels! Risky Reels is kind of like Lucky Landing. One of those like random, newer at the time, edge of the map spots that was just like a guaranteed good game for no reason. That's how I felt about Risky. That's how I felt about Lucky Landing. Risky's going right here under Retail Row for me. So solid. Love Risky. Rocky Reels. What the frick is that, bro? I do remember it, but like, C tier. You can go under Greasy as well. And Pressure Plant. Salty Springs. Fun fact. Of the OG locations, Salty Springs is my least dropped spot. It was a Risky Reels Chapter 3, yeah. Salty Springs is my least dropped OG spot. Of all the spots that were in like Chapter 1 or whatever, or the first several seasons of Chapter 1, Salty Springs is my least dropped spot. I don't really know why, I just never dropped there. Like literally a few times in my life. And I never liked, like it's a fine like mid-game battle spot, but I never liked landing there. I'm gonna put it at the very top of C tier. But yeah. Also, I do want to drop some of these down, I think. Some of these from B to C. I'll drop Coral Castle. It does need to be lower. I'll put it there. I'm gonna drop a lot of these like right under Greasy. And then Dirty Docks I do like. I'll keep it bottom of B for Dirty Docks. Okay, it's feeling better. Salty Towers. This was like that weird tilted... Remember the whole like sand thing where like you could hide in the sand and move around? What the frick was that? There was like a long portion of Fortnite that was a thing. And Salty Towers was like the tilt of that day, which was fine. It's B tier and I liked it more than Neo. I'd put it... Salty Towers, I'll put it right under Lazy Links. Decent enough spot. Yeah, it was so jank. Oh man, Sanctuary. Is okay, yeah, that's the spot with the giant statue of like the rock or whatever. It was okay. It was okay. I'd give it B. Probably right above Dirty Docks, like a B minus. Shifty Shafts. Another spot that I loved like mid-game at Shifty, but I did not like landing at Shifty. But it was decent enough. Like, I liked it more than Salty Springs, but is it good enough to be B tier? I don't think I can do that. I don't know. I like it as a mid-game spot, but I hated landing there. I'm gonna go top of C for Shifty. Alright, Sleepy Sound. Sleepy Sound is like what I'm picturing as Dirty Docks. Oh! I'm realizing I was thinking of Dirty Docks wrong the whole time. I was picturing Sleepy Sound, I think, the whole time I was looking at Dirty Docks. I actually remember Dirty Docks now that I'm looking at it and thinking about it. And I think they're pretty much on the same level. I remember both of these now. I'll put them both as B minus. But I was literally, the whole time I was looking at Dirty Docks, I was picturing Sleepy Sound, I think. Sludgy Swamp? I don't even know what that is, TBH. Slurpy Swamp? Oh, I remember Slurpy Swamp because it had all the freaking slurp crap. I do remember that. That was actually solid. I'm gonna go B right under. I really like Slurpy. You think S? It's a solid B spot. It had all the freaking shield, bro. It's really good. I'm gonna put it high B. I'm gonna put it right under Logjam, because to me Logjam was more memorable. It's the first spot you could get guaranteed shield. That is a good point. You had to go so far to the zone every time? Maybe so. Snobby Shores. Alright. I don't know how people typically feel about Snobby Shores. I don't know what the, like, mainstream opinion on Snobby Shores is. But I freaking did not like Snobby Shores. It's not a bad, like, horrible spot. But every time I landed there, you gotta go freaking through that. There's, like, a bunch of mountains. You're, like, on the edge of the map. So you have to run to zone 90% of games. And you're, like, surrounded by a wall of mountains. And the only way through is the super narrow freaking valley between them. So obnoxious to travel through. It's like you land there and you know I'm gonna have to spend the whole like middle third of the game running the zone just to probably die as I get to Tilted, and I hated every part of that. Snobby Shores is a mid spot for me. I'm going C tier, like right above Camp Cuddle. It's not even as good as Frosty Flights for me. Frosty Flights is greater than Snobby Shores in my opinion. Stark Industries, bro. I should have played I took too many hiatuses from this game. I never played Gotham City. Stark Industries, I don't know if it was any good. It's cool though. And I have to put it in, I don't even know what it is. I'm sorry. Starry Suburbs. I think that's supposed to be suburbs. I can't remember it enough to rank it. And we're actually creeping up on getting towards the end of this list, so here we go. Stealthy Stronghold. I actually liked this place. Stealthy Stronghold, bro. It was like a Hunger Games freaking, even though it's a battle royale game, Fortnite, so it's already like the Hunger Games. This was like a Hunger Games style spot where it's like a huge walled in forest, and I actually really enjoyed it. I don't think I could go A tier with it, but it's one of those like higher B tiers for me. I like enjoyed it more than Slurpy. Maybe more than Logjam. I would put it above. I think Happy Hamlet's still top of B for me, but I really liked Stealthy Stronghold. That was the win spot. Yes. We used to be like, oh, we got to win. We're going Stealthy. That's the win spot, bro. That's so true. For that, I think I got to put it even higher. It was the win spot. I totally forgot that. We would always say that when we wanted to win. Oh, gotta go Stealthy. Because our win rate was so stupidly high there. That's the win spot. I'm going to put it... I can't go A, but I'll go to the very top of B. That was the win spot. Steamy Stacks. The only thing I liked about Steamy Stacks was that you could, like, glide out of the things. But I didn't love it other than that. Still, though, I think it's above C. I give it a B minus. Like, right below Neo Tilted, I suppose. Sunny Steps, the freaking top right pyramid town on the other side of the volcano. It was so eh. It was so eh. It's C tier for me. Where in C tier? Below Salty, honestly, but above Loot Lake. Yeah, I didn't like Sunny Steps, but I don't think it's bad enough. I could drop it below. It had decent enough loot. I just didn't like it. Sweaty Sands. It's looking a lot like Believer Beach to me. See, some of these places I'm afraid I'm gonna like mix them up. I'm just gonna go B minus for Sweaty Sands, but I'll go like there. The Agency. The Agency. What the heck was the Agency? The Agency? The guards at the Agency were so overpowered. What was the Agency? I don't remember what the Agency was. And the authority, the agency, the authority. What are those? Not gonna lie, I don't even know what that is, bro. Chapter 2, Season 2 and on. I don't remember it. The Block! Okay. The Block, for those who don't remember, started out as just like a little flat surface, but it became every week they would put a creator-made location there, and it was actually really fun. I really enjoyed The Block just because it was a different location every week, and a lot of them were actually really fun. I completely forgot that existed until right now. The Block was so fun because of that, like, it was a different location every week. I'm gonna put it A tier. Underneath, you know, all the, like, great spots. But I really like The Block. I'm putting it A tier because some of those locations that were fan-made were really good. The Daily Bugle! Okay, my absolute favorite Fortnite season, outside of the, like, OG era of seasons. So, you know, I didn't really enjoy Chapter 2, like, at all. Like, start to finish, I didn't really like Chapter 2. But Chapter 3 kept me going because of the whole Spider-Man season, including the Daily Bugle. I freaking loved the Daily Bugle. Can I put it S tier? I don't know. It had the freaking Spider-Man gloves, which were so good. Greatest Kyroga stream of all time. The Spider-Man Fortnite streams. It's top of A tier. I like... I don't think I can go S, though. I'm gonna go top of A tier for the Daily Bugle. Spider-Man, baby. Played Fortnite for hours after No Way Home came out and got massive squad wins. Bro, that's so true. I remember that. That was so fun. The Fortilla. I don't know what that is, TBH. The Grotto. I feel like I remember that name. I remember that freaking Joneses sucked. I hated the Joneses. I like never landed there either. I'm going F tier for the Joneses. Frick the Joneses, bro. The Bugle was cool, but I hated fighting there. It was a giant vertical building surrounded by a giant volcano. I liked it, bro. I liked it. The Grotto. I'm trying to remember what that was. Frick the Pyramid. I don't even know what the Grotto is, TBH. I don't know what the Rig is, TBH. The Ruins. The Shark was decent enough. It was a solid C tier. Like, I'll put it above Sunny Steps. I don't remember the Grotto. There was one, like, mountain that you would go inside and, like, fight a boss for a sick vault. Was that the Grotto? Because it was something like that. But I wouldn't describe it as a dungeon, you know? I wouldn't describe it as a dungeon. I don't remember the yacht. Like, I was looking at the ones that were, like, pictures of boats, and I'm like, I don't remember that at all. I don't really remember the Ruins a ton either. I vaguely remember them. I'll throw them C tier. Because I think what I'm thinking of is Covert Cavern. The Spire. I remember the Spire. It was whatever. It was alright. I'll put it like higher C tier. Now we're getting wild. Because we got Tilted Towers. I don't care what anyone says. And like back in the day, I would not have called Tilted my favorite landing spot, but it is the most iconic and in my opinion the greatest Fortnite drop spot of all time. As I got older and like in Fortnite OG was my favorite spot, but back in the day I was too afraid of Tilted, you know? But I think it's the greatest drop spot of all time. It's the most iconic, like you can't even argue that it's the most iconic spot, and I think it's the best one, honestly. It's just so good. The most crowded spot ever? Yes, but so good. Tilted Town is just literally like Tilted but worse, but still good. I'm gonna put it B+, like right below Slurpy Swamp. Tomato Temple! They upgraded Tomato Town. It is objectively better, but at the same time, I like Tomato Town more for like the sake of like nostalgia and junk. So even though Tomato Temple is objectively better, I like think more fondly of just wiped out Tomato Town. But Tomato Town, when it was like just Tomato Town, was one of the worst spots in the game. It was just so small. It was just so small. I think I gotta put both in C tier. But I'll go like this. I miss Tomato Town. Yeah, I wanted to see Tomato Town again. Tomato Town and Moisty Mire I wanted to see again because it'd been so long. And now we're down to Wailing Woods and Weeping Woods. Freaking similar names. Wailing Woods, if you wanted wood. The spot, bro. I actually like Wailing Woods. I'm gonna go B tier for it. I know a lot of people might not like it as much, but I'm going Wailing Woods at like here. They're both awful. Surprised there's even a name location given its size. Yeah. And then I don't really remember Weeping Woods a lot. Oh, I actually do kind of. I think I have a clip of like a 6 snipe at Weeping Woods. In 0 builds, it's the worst spot ever. I agree. Wailing Woods and 0 builds sucks. Weeping Woods is okay, but nothing crazy. I'm gonna go C tier above Tomato Town for Weeping Woods. And ladies and gentlemen, I felt like it left out a decent amount of locations, but that is the Fortnite Locations tier list. My only S tiers are Tilted Towers and High Hills. My favorite spot ever, probably, and my favorite solo spot ever. But in A tier, we've got the Daily Bugle, Lucky Landing, Retail Row, Risky Reels, Paradise Palms, Flush Factory, Pleasant Park, The Block. Freaking awesome spots. B tier was like spots that I would like, you know, land happy enough. C tier and down are spots that I would like never like want to land probably. Except if Covert Cavern was what I'm remembering, that spot with the freaking vault and stuff, I really liked that. And if that's what that was, that would go to like here. Maybe even here for me. Wait, where'd it go? Here for me, because that was so fun to go for that vault. But yeah, C tier and down are places I wouldn't really like want to drop. You know what I mean? B tier, I would enjoy dropping, but my go-tos were A and up. That's where I was going. I was hopping into a round of Fortnite Battle Royale. But let me know what you think. That was my tier list of whatever these particular Fortnite location drop spots are. I feel like it left out quite a bit, but it also had a lot in there that I didn't even know what the heck it was. Let me know what your list would have been, how your list would have been different. What are your S tier spots? Let me know down in the comments, dog. Alright gamers, we're going to keep it going with another video game locations-based tier list. Talk about the Marvel Snap locations. Now I think this tier list is locations that were added into the game up till like June of this year, so it's about 6 months outdated. So any locations added in the last 6 months probably aren't added, but this has a whole lot of locations. So most of the ones that I'm familiar with, I am certain are going to be in here. Let's just jump right into it, alphabetically starting with the Altar of Death. I really like this spot. You play a card there, it gets destroyed, but you get +2 energy in the next turn. This is amazing in like destroy decks, where like I'm throwing Deadpool out there and he's getting more powerful and I'm getting way more energy every turn. And even in non-destroy decks, it's really awesome to sack a bullcrap card and next turn get a whole lot more energy. Altar of Death is a solid A tier for me. I get happy pretty much every game I see it. Asgard. Whoever's winning the location after turn 4 draws 2 cards. Pretty cool, solid location. Not really any negative aspect to it. Solid location, B tier. Cloning Vats. Cloning Vats, depending on the cards you have, could be awesome, or if you're like not trying to, you know, clog up your deck or your hand, you're not going to want to play stuff there. So it's, it can be awesome, but for most games for me, I find it just like, I don't really want to play stuff there. It's solid enough. I'm going to go C tier for now. I might bump it up later. X Mansion. After turn 3, add a random card here for each player. It can be fun, but it's D tier, man. X Mansion, bro. I have won unfairly and lost extremely unfairly games because X Mansion will pop. I'll get some 1 power card and they'll get the Hulk or something like that. And it's like, oh, we both get a random card, but one person, like, it's the most RNG and it can decide the game. It's dumb. It is kind of fun sometimes because it feels freaking awesome when you're the one that's pulling that super high power card, but too RNG, it's D tier. Collapsed Mine. Fill each location with rocks, and to destroy the rocks, you have to skip a turn, or destroy them some other way, like with Killmonger or something. Annoying spot. For destroy decks with like death, if you have, or you don't even have to have Killmonger, but it is, if you have death in your deck, Collapsed Mine is awesome, because it's immediately going to get you a free 12 power death. So that's cool, but it's annoying. I almost want to go F tier, because it just forces you to skip a turn if you want to do anything at that location. pretty much. Unless you use one of those like outside ways of getting rid of the rocks. I almost want to go F tier. It's F to D. I want to go F for now. Crimson Cosmos is cards that cost 1, 2, or 3 can't be played here. It's the exact same thing as the other location that blocks cards 4, 5, and 6. I don't like either. They're both annoying because it limits what I can do there. They're not the worst. The worst. They're D or C. I'm gonna go D. It's just annoying. Daily Bugle. Get a copy of a card in the opponent's hand. I think it's pretty fun. It's cool to see like and you have to like strategize. Well, they could have this card in my hand. They could have another one. Daily Bugle's fun. And it was also when I started the game. I played the game like right when it came out, or very shortly after it came out. And I think my first day playing the game was the first day Daily Bugle came out. It was one of the first locations they added after launch. And that was when I started playing the game. It's solid enough location. It's going B tier. Danger Room. Cards played here have a 25% chance of being destroyed. Super annoying because it's another one of those very RNG based locations. You could play, 8 cards there and nothing would happen, or you could play 2 cards in a row and both of them get destroyed. I really don't like the RNG based locations. That's going D for me. Dark Dimension. Cards here are not revealed until the end of the game. A lot of the decks I play use a lot of on reveal cards, and sometimes it's cool to wait till the end to reveal those, but oftentimes it's like I'm trying to reveal those early in the game to set up stuff later. It's not horrible, but it's a C tier for me. Death's Domain. After you play a card here, destroy it. Death's Domain is pretty cool because, again, if you're in like a destroy deck, you can like just OP the game with like stacking up Deadpool or something. So depending on the deck you're playing, you can get screwed or get the odds very heavily stacked in your favor. But when it's like an even playing field, it's really fun to either, because the goal of the game is to win 2 locations. So it's one of those locations that can take one location off. So it's literally just, you gotta try to win the 2 remaining locations to win the game. So that's fun. And then, or it's like, do I have a Squirrel Girl? Do I have a move card? Anything I can do to steal a win last second in this location that my opponent can't play anything in. That kind of thing is fun. So it's a B tier for me, I think. Deep Space. Deep Space is very interesting, which is card text here is disabled. Basically, every card you play there means absolutely nothing. All that matters is the number of power they have. Literally the only thing that matters. Any ability they have, it is void at Deep Space. Interesting location. I find myself annoyed when it comes up because it's like, I want to use my card's powers and abilities. So like, that is kind of annoying. But I think it's a very solid spot in concept. It's cool to have a spot where like the only thing that matters is the power number on the card. So for that, I'm gonna go B tier. Ego. It is the most RNG location in the entire game. Now that being said, it turns every single game essentially into a coin toss because both players have their hands and turns played for them, so neither player is in control. So although it is the most RNG based location ever, it is a strict 50-50% pretty much. I mean, yeah, if you're like your deck is better based on the cards you drew, it's gonna waver, but it's essentially a coin toss. And the game acknowledges it. The devs acknowledge it. There's a freaking title you can put on yourself in the game that says ego equals snap. Basically, if I see a 50-50 chance location in Ego, I'm snapping, like that kind of a thing. It's a very gimmicky location that can be fun, but it's annoying like 80 to 90% of the time it pops up. So I understand if someone wanted to put it in F, and like if you're looking for like a competitive game, it'd be an F tier spot. But because it's kind of fun, I can't go higher than D tier. It sucks. When Ego pops up, it's like, ugh, especially because it feels like it always pops up on turn 3. It's like, oh, turn 1 and 2 went so well. I did exactly like an ideal, perfect opening turns 1 and 2. Ego turn 3, it's over. Just give it up. Either retreat or go with a coin toss to win the game, and that's annoying. So I can't go higher than D, but because it can be fun and gimmicky, I'm gonna keep it out of F. District F. District X F. Freaking screw this place. I hate it so much. Replace both decks with 10 random cards. So essentially, the deck you built, the cards you've planned out for your matches, for your game, it literally throws them out the window and gives you 10 random cards. And just like X Mansion, the reason why X Mansion is not as bad is because both players get 1 random card at the same location. So it's like RNG from one location. District X, is RNG for the whole game. Throw out, now it is kind of cool because it makes it chaos because you have to like try to build some kind of cool, you know, strategy method of attack out of like not knowing what you're gonna have. So like that part is cool for like on the fly thinking. I think it'd be cool to have a game mode that was like District X first location every game, essentially meaning like you have a random deck every game. That could be interesting, but when you're like trying to climb ranked and you have a game eaten because you have a random deck and your opponent has a random deck and you don't know what's going to happen, again, it's kind of like one of those RNG like ego things where it's technically like a 50-50 chance, but at least with ego I don't have to put in any effort. I can just watch it play out. District X, it's like, oh, I'm starting with like a plan in mind of what I'm going to do with my cards, and the District X pops up and it's like, what the frick do I do now? It's so annoying. F. Elysium, A tier. So awesome. Cards cost 1 less. Some of these have really small text, and so I'm having to like remember what they do on my own. But it's super fun when cards cost less because you can play a ton of freaking awesome cards. You can play 6 costs and 5 costs early, and that's always fun. Always fun. A tier. Eternity Range. After turn 3, add a rock to the losing player's side. It's C tier. It's not super offensive, but it's not cool. I don't get excited for Eternity Range, but it doesn't ruin my game. So it's C tier. Dream Dimension, D tier. On turn 5, cards cost 1 more. The amount of freaking games that I'm like if I'm playing like a Venom Destroy deck and it's like, oh, I want to play Wolverine and Venom on turn 5, or I have a built up Deadpool and I want to play that and Nova with, like, it just ruins everything. Because I can't even play a 1 cost and Venom on turn 5 when Dream Dimension pops up because now Venom's 4 and the 1 cost is 2. So you literally can't even play a 3 and a 1 on turn 5 together with Dream Dimension. It's so annoying. Like, it's the opposite of Elysium. You know, cards costing less, fun. Cards costing more, freaking infuriating. Atlantis, pretty fun. I'm gonna go B tier for Atlantis, solid B tier. Like, I like it more in Deep Space, I guess. The fun thing about Atlantis is, if you have 1 card there, it gets +5 power. But if you add any more cards there, it doesn't give you the buff. So it's like, the strategies with Atlantis are like, trying to play the highest possible 1 power card there to just overwhelm the location. Like if you drop like a Hulk, for example, it's 17 power in 1 card. But then you can also, like, if you have like a Green Goblin, throw it over there so either your opponent automatically has 2 cards there and can't keep up, can't compete, or they're stuck with a 2 power there with the +5. It's fun to mess around with. It's a little bit annoying if you're playing like a deck, like I've played a lot of like a Thanos deck in my life, so I have tons of 1 cost cards. And so I'm needing to fill up locations, that kind of a thing. It can be annoying in that sense, but it's fun to play around with. Solid B tier in my opinion. Fisk Tower, C tier. When a card moves here, destroy it. I mean, if you're playing a movement deck, you're screwed. So that sucks. I've played a decent amount of movement decks. My most played decks... Oh, I dropped my wedding ring. That's not good. My most played decks I've played are... like a Thanos deck. I don't think that's number 1 though. My most played deck ever is probably like a Guardians of the Galaxy on reveal deck with like Odin and White Tiger, and then a Destroy deck with like Venom and Null and them. Where the heck did that ring go? Oh, I see it. Let me pick it up. I found it. I lost it. I found it, and then I lost it. I kicked it, trying to kick it over to myself, and it has disappeared. Well, I will find it later. What was I even talking about? Fisk Tower. It's mostly inoffensive. It used to suck with like Arrow, was that her name? The wind girl that like pulls a card to her. It can be annoying, but movement decks aren't ran an alarmingly large amount, so it's not extremely offensive. Gamma Lab. Gamma Lab is fun. I'm gonna put it in A tier. It might realistically be more of like a B tier. On turn 3 or after turn 3, it transforms all cards there into the Hulk, which is fun. Every card becomes just a base 12 power card. Only thing that sucks, well, but it's fun with Gamma Lab to like just try to get as many cards in that 1 location as possible to win it before turn 3 or by the end of turn 3. But you know what freaking sucks? The fact that the worst card in the history of the game Marvel Snap, aka Shang-Chi, exists. Shang-Chi the character, awesome. The movie, awesome. Shang-Chi the freaking card in Marvel Snap, worst card in the game! Because it doesn't matter if you play 4 freaking epic 1 cost cards at Gamma Lab, turn them all into Hulk, you drop 1 little Shang-Chi and you lose the location. It's the dumbest thing ever. I hate that card. but I'll still give Game 11 A because it's fun. Grand Central, I actually really like Grand Central. After turn 5, pull a random card here for each player. So the reason why I like Grand Central, it's going to be A tier for me as well, is because by the end of turn 5, a lot of the time the only cards in your hand are going to be like the 6 cost or something. So you spend turns 1 through 4, or even 1 through 5, playing a lot of your low cost stuff. Now some decks like stack their hand for the end of the game. So some decks that you play are going to have a lot of cards in their hand. But a lot of the decks I play, I only have like 2 to 4 cards in my hand at the end of turn 5. And a lot of times it'll pull one of those super high cost cards, and that's a lot of fun to get to play that for free. Hala, after turn 4, destroy all the cards of whatever player is losing here. I mean, that's, for me, like an average C tier location. It can be annoying. It's fun to win it if you destroy some of the other cards. It can be a huge swing to win you the game. But, Great Web. I love all things Spider-Man, and this is a Spider-Man themed location, and it frickin' sucks dong. Great Web sucks. After each turn, it'll randomly pull one card from a random player to that location. And it's just annoying, bro, because if you're playing cards, like if you're the only one playing cards early on, or just in general if you're playing cards early game, no matter what you try to do, whatever you try to cook up, all the freaking cards are going to end up at the Great Web. It's so annoying. And so it's like you can't play cards early game unless you want to lose that location, because now it's stuffed with 3 1 costs and a 2 cost, and your opponent plays 1 5 or 6 cost late game and wins it anyways. It sucks. Freaking sucks. D tier. But with certain movement decks, it can be fun. Hellfire Club, C. It's annoying, but it's not quite offensive enough to be lower. But not being able to play 1 cost sucks, especially like I said, I've played like a lot of a Thanos deck, which inherently has at least 6, but oftentimes more 1 cost cards in it. And so when you're playing a lot of low cost cards, you're filling up locations, and when you have Hellfire Club that you can't play those, it's obnoxious. But outside of decks like that, it's not too offensive, so C tier. Hell's Kitchen, I like. Is it quite B tier? I'm gonna put it A tier. It's just draw a 1 cost card from your deck. It is just draw a card, and no matter what, you can play it on this turn, which is just awesome because it's 1 cost card. So Hell's Kitchen, solid location. Isle of Silence, ongoing effects here are disabled. C tier. The negative locations are never probably going to be higher than B tier for me. Deep Space is the least offensive of that kind of a place, so I don't think I can put it much higher. But Isle of Silence, that one location that silences on reveal abilities, it's just annoying. It just gets in the way of what you're wanting to do. So like, yeah, if I'm going against an extremely heavy ongoing deck, yeah, it's good for me, but it's just annoying. I know I have Deep Space in B. I probably should drop it to like C, but I don't like locations that like, I gotta be careful how I say this. I say I don't like locations that limit what cards can do. There are good versions of that, but locations that just absolutely negate a huge chunk of cards, types of cards that a lot of people build decks around, is just obnoxious. But it's not, like, it's solid enough location that I would just put in C tier. Jotunheim, I'm going to put it in D tier on a very small caveat. I want to put it F tier. Nothing is more obnoxious than Jotunheim, because you cannot play cards there until turn like 5 or 6 if you want to have any chance of winning the location. The only reason I'm going to put it in D tier is because it is so freaking satisfying to use like a Green Goblin there that's technically gaining a power for you every turn. That's just fun. So because of Green Goblin, Jotunheim's D tier. Kamar-Taj! I'm gonna go B tier. When it first dropped, it was one of the most busted locations ever, because if you played Odin and Ironheart and White Tiger and whatever the frick else, you could just cheese your way to wins. And if you're playing that deck, if you had Wong to stack on top of it, like, you can cheese the crap out of wins. And it's fun, but it's some BS. I can't put it higher than B, but man, some of the most like fun early memories I have with this game was just absolutely melting kids that could not do a thing to stop it unless they had Cosmo. Frick that dog, by the way. Clintar, C tier. At the end of turn 4, it just turns all the cards there into a single symbiote, equaling the power of the total cards you had there. It's fine. It sucks that that symbiote technically counts as a 1 cost, because you could stack up like 20 power there, and then here comes Elektra, or here comes Killmonger, and they're gone. So that's kind of annoying. Or, you know, Shang-Chi too, because screw that guy. Clintar's, It's not bad. It's just not good. It's C tier. Adelan, what is this? I'm trying to read this. I have seen this location, but I can't remember what it is. After turn 3, shuffle your hand into your deck, draw 3 cards, C tier. It's one of those that's like annoying. It can be annoying, but it's not offensive enough to the point that it's like, oh, I hate this place. But it can be annoying. Kunlun, if that's how you say it, when a card moves here, +2 power, it's solid B tier. And a movement deck, it's super fun. Get a bonus +2 power, always fun. And it doesn't do anything negative on top of that, B tier. Nowhere. This is what I was thinking of. On reveal effects here do not happen. Now, I have always been an on reveal enjoyer more than like ongoing, but it's essentially the exact same location as Isle of Silence, but for ongoing. So for me, or for on reveal. So for me, Nowhere is way more annoying because I do a lot more on reveal stuff, but objectively it's the exact same thing as Isle of Silence, but for a different faction of cards. Kiln. You can't play cards here after turn 4. It's alright. It's one of those like annoying ones, so it's gonna be C tier, but it's not like, oh, this ruins the whole game for me. No, it's fine. Lamentis. Draw 3 cards, then destroy both decks. If you get Null, it's freaking busted because Null is guaranteed to be like 40 to 60 power, and you can just dominate a location with that. But it's pretty cheese, and it's very RNG based. I gotta go D tier, I'm sorry. Lechugula. Oh my freaking gosh. After you play a card here, shuffle 3 rocks into your deck. Screw that, bro. F tier. Nobody, like, I don't care if you're a destroy deck. I don't care if you're a freaking, not Cerebro, but the card that gives cards without abilities extra power. I don't care what deck you are. Nobody wants freaking 3 to 5 rocks every turn freaking thrown into your deck. Nobody likes that. F. Freaking F tier. Lemuria, no cards revealed this turn. It's another one of those doesn't really do anything, but not really offensive. Locations, C tier. Limbo. I'm gonna go A tier. So like there is the magic card that can give Limbo every game, which makes it a little less special. But before there was a lot of magic running around, when you randomly had Limbo pop into your game, it was like, oh shoot! It just got real. Because it gave a second turn that you could play 6 cost cards, and it was just the extra turn just feels so epic, like so legendary. Like we're heading in to like the longest match of Marvel Snap ever played. Who's gonna come out? It's like Game 7 of the NBA Finals on that turn 7. Freaking fun. What I'm noticing is we have gone through a lot of locations here and have not thrown anything in S yet. That's wild. Lost Diablo's base, I think is what that says. After turn 3, destroy a random location. Just turns it into a nothing. Turns it into ruin. I'm actually gonna go B tier for this because it's annoying when like you have a location that you really like get destroyed, but it's like it doesn't turn it into any negative location. It just turns it completely neutral. So it's like annoying but not bad on its worst day, but on its best day, it's taking out one of the bullcrap locations down here that I hate. So for that, I gotta give you a salute to B tier. Luke's Bar. After you play a card here, return it to your hand. On a bad day, this is F tier. On a day that you've got Yondu in your hand and you can just melt cards from your opponent, it's a great day. It's a great day. Or any card that has an on reveal like that, you can get like 2 white tigers, just whatever you want to do. I'm gonna go. It's either like top of C tier or bottom of B tier. I'm gonna go bottom of B tier. I'm gonna Deep Space can be annoying. I'm gonna go drop Deep Space to top of C tier. Now Luke's Bar. There's also bar that should not be named or something like that. The bar with no name. Similar feeling, but bar with no name is so much more annoying. Machine World sucks, D tier. After you play a card here, add a copy to the opponent's hand. I don't want to do that. I play freaking awesome cards. I don't want my opponent to have access and have the same awesome cards at their disposal. It's annoying. It just makes me never want to play a card there until turn 6. Screw that. Avengers Compound. On turn 5, all cards must be played here. It's actually very interesting. And when you have Gamora and guarantee Gamora hits on turn 5, so fun. That's a B tier location for me. I'm gonna go here. On its worst day, it can be annoying that like you're really wanting to play towards a different location, but still fun for sure. Mind Space. At the start of turn 6, swap hands. It's D tier. I'll put it top of D tier. It's a D plus. How about that? It can be strategic because it's like, okay, I gotta get all my good cards the frick out of my hand before turn 6. But if this pops up on like turn 3 or just any point and you have an epic 6-cost card in your hand that you can't get rid of, then you're just screwed. And it's like, I can't do anything. And that sucks. There's no, for me, and some people aren't like this. Some people take more comfort and they're like, oh, I got screwed. There's nothing I could have done, whatever. I'm the opposite. If I know, oh, I could have done this better and I would have won, I'm happy because it's like, it's fully in my control and I just got to do better next time. But if I feel like I literally cannot control the outcome of the situation, I just get pissed off, bro. And when I see the inevitable turn 6 coming, then I'm going to hand over a freaking 90 power Null or an Odin or a Hulk, whatever it is. When I know there's nothing I can do to avoid them beating me with my own card turn 6, I get pissed. But it can be strategically fun when it's like, I gotta get the worst hand possible to give them on turn 6. That very niche scenario can be fun. Miniaturized Lab. C tier, it's not extremely offensive. If you can play some good cards there early, it's fun because they don't have a chance to counter it till turn 6. And they probably don't want to waste their turn 6 cards on taking back a miniature lab. But it can be annoying to have an entire location locked down for half the game. But it's fine in C tier. I'm going to put it above Kiln because you can actually save miniaturized lab at the end of the game if you want to. There's a lot of locations. I'm going to try to keep going. Mirror Dimension on turn 4, transform into one of the other locations. That can be super annoying or fun, so for that, it's a C tier. Mojo World. Whoever has the most cards here gets plus 100 power. It's fun to see, like, if you win that location with, like, Iron Man, and you've got, like, 200 power there, that's fun. But, it's C tier. It's a higher C tier for me, but it's C tier. Monster Island. Add a 9 power monster to each player's side. I'm going to go B tier because that's fun. It's another one that pairs up good with, like, an Iron Man. But again, the location would be super fun if freaking Shang-Chi didn't exist. Ugh. But it's solid B tier. Monster Metropolis, the highest card here, or the cards here with the highest power get plus 3 power. Fun location, solid B tier. Morag, you can't play your first card here each turn. Freaking annoying D tier. It's one of the less offensive D tiers. I can't put it in C tier. Every time I see Morag, I'm like, and yeah, I say I play like a lot of Thanos decks, so if I have a lot of low-cost cards, I can a lot of times win that location, but it's still annoying. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting to some cream of the crop. I'm happy to announce we finally have our first S-tier location. Muir, I don't know how you say this. Muir Island? I'm going to say Muir Island. At the end of each turn, each card here gets plus 1 power. Nothing feels better than when you play, like, if you have a bunch of 1 costs, like a Thanos deck, or even like a Destroy deck with like Deadpool that you can stack up. Nothing feels better than dropping like 3 or 4 cards here in the first two or 3 turns, and then just getting plus 4 power every turn till the end of the game. Feels so good. It's literally the least annoying spot ever. Even if my opponent outdoes me, it's just, I have such a good time every time it pops up. S tier for Muir Island. Murder World. At the end of turn 3, destroy all cards here. I used to dislike this location a lot more than I do. Also, I'm talking so much, and my throat is killing me. But I'm trying to keep it going with the energy. Let me know how you're enjoying this this video, this tier list. I'm enjoying this one a lot. I'm having more fun with this one than I did the Fortnite location tier list because I have actually more thoughts and more to say on these. And I actually know what all these are. I'm gonna have a freaking lost voice tomorrow, though. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna put Elysium in S tier. Having cards cost 1 less is just fun every game. S tier. So, Elysium, sorry for making you wait, but you're amongst the elite of the elite. Alright, Murder World. After turn 3, destroy all cards here. I like that it's like a clown carnival looking thing. So it's like I know it's a Marvel game, so don't kill me, but it feels like a Joker themed vibe card. And I used to really dislike it, but now it's whatever. Just don't play cards there early on. And then if you're playing like a Destroy deck, it can actually be fun to like play Nova there and save it till turn 3 or Deadpool or something. Whatever it is. We'll go C tier. Necrotia, card tier of -2 power. It's not quite offensive enough for me to go D. I'm gonna go C tier, especially when you have like a Hobgoblin or a Green Goblin. It's so fun to throw there. Bar Sinister. I'm going B tier. This is like the 3rd, 4th, 5th location I've said, if you have Green Goblin, is so fun. Bar Sinister, you can win the location, and they can't do a dang thing about it on turn 3 if you have Green Goblin. Yeah, it's kind of cheese, but they can't destroy it with like a Killmonger. They can't play any cards there to counteract it. They are just screwed. If you have Green Goblin, you win that location on turn 3, and that's fun. But even apart from that, if you've got like Blue Marvel and every card on your side of the field gets +4 power because of it, that kind of a thing. It's just fun to get whatever effect your card has ×4, fun. Negative Zone, cards here have -3 power. It's the same thing as the Crochet, so I gotta put it in the same place. It's C tier. It's one of those more annoying C tiers, which is why it's like a C- range. It's one of the more annoying ones, but you can deal with it. You can deal with it. New York. I've heard this called the most unpredictable location, and because of that, I think it's one of the most strategic locations. It's not one of my most favorites, but I'd put it in B tier. What it is on turn 6, both players can move cards, and then however many cards they want to New York on the last turn of the game. So it's like, it's one of those like, did I put the poison in front of you or me moments. You don't know what cards your opponent is or isn't moving to New York at the end of the game. So you got to really try to predict. It makes it one of the most hard to predict locations in the game, which can really suck. But when you outbrain your opponent with how you handle New York, it feels really good. And it's like, it doesn't shut down your whole game either, so it's a solid B tier. Nidavellir, cards here have +5 power. Now, I would want to put this higher, but I'm just going to put it in B tier. Reason why is it really just becomes a who has more cards here. Not necessarily, like, you can win that location with less cards, it's just tough to do. But it's a fun location. I like positive locations that make power number go bigger. Fun. Novaroma, draw a card, A tier. It's always fun to draw a card for free. Olympia, draw 2 cards. A tier. It's always even more fun to draw 2 cards for free. Gotta love it. Onslaught Citadel, also A tier. Ongoing effects here are doubled. If you've got Null, if you've got Iron Man, if you've got Blue Marvel, freaking Captain America, whoever the frick has a positive ongoing ability, this place is your favorite spot. It's freaking awesome. Oscorp, after turn 3, all cards here switch sides, so you get your opponent's cards, they get your cards. D tier. Nothing is more annoying than like, the first location that showed sucked. Let me play a card on one of the hidden locations, and then that hidden location being revealed to be Oscorp Tower, and then I just gave him a free card. Freaking bullcrap! Hate that garbage. Origis Forge. After you play a card here, add a Sentinel to your hand. F. I do not want to plague my hand with ever respawning Sentinels the whole game. Never. I don't care what deck I'm running. I never want to do that. That's so annoying. F tier. Pet Mansion. This turn, all cards must be played here. Pretty fun. It's nice to know like your opponent is 1000% playing a card here this turn. And that's fun, especially if you're running like one of the Guardians of the Galaxy decks, like with a Gamora or a Star-Lord or something. You could never play Gamora here because you can't play Gamora first 3 turns. But like a Star-Lord or a Rocket or a Groot or whatever. That's fun, but also just, it's nice to like have the like, you can take security knowing like, I know my opponent's playing here. I don't have to like think and outsmart them this turn to like figure out where they're going to play. I know they're playing here. And that kind of thing is fun. Same with like Avengers Compound. Project Pegasus, S, +5 energy this turn. Now it does suck when your hand doesn't have a high cost card and you can't take full advantage of it. But when you get to play a 6 cost card at the very beginning of the game, that feels good. Or you can just play a ton of like low cost cards, super fun, S tier. Quantum Realm, after you play a card here, set its power to 2, C tier, it's whatever. It's not super offensive, but it can be fun to like find ways around the 2 cost power thing, or the being set to 2 power thing, but it's more so just kind of annoying. Bar with No Name, I hate this location, man. It's fun when it pops up because it's like a really unique location, so it's like a very small dose of the dopamine you hit from like seeing like a shiny Pokemon. It's like, whoa, this is a really unique and weird, crazy spot, but it's so annoying. The player with the lowest power there wins. So if you play a card to the location that hasn't been revealed yet, and it comes up in this bar with no name, okay, you lose. You can't do anything with that location, and you can't do anything to like fix it. You just got screwed. And I know that's like the risk of playing at hidden locations, but it's so annoying to get screwed like that. It's so annoying. I think it's unique, and I like it in concept, and like if I was like spectating a game and I saw it pop up. I'm like, ooh, how are they going to handle that? So that's interesting. But any game I've ever played in that it pops up, I'm just annoyed. So I'll go D tier. I think of it more highly than like Jotunheim, but it's so annoying. Quantum Tunnel, fun spot, A tier. After you play a card here, replace it with a random card in your deck. So you can play a random bullcrap low-cost card, and it can become any card in your deck. That could be good, that could be bad. It could be awesome, A tier. Rickety Bridge. After each turn, if there's more than one card here, destroy all the cards. It's really annoying. I'm going D tier. I don't like it. Sakar. After this turn, put a card from each player here. That's going A tier for me. It's like a Grand Central, but it can happen on any turn, not just the end of turn 5, and that's fun. Sanctum Sanctuary. Neither player can play cards here. If you're playing a movement deck, you automatically win, but it's another one of those It's another one of those locations like a Death's Domain where it like completely blocks off a location for a lot of the game and forces players to focus 2 locations, but it's also like a Death's Domain, fun to find ways around it that you could somehow sneak a win over there, again with like a Squirrel Girl or something. Savage Land, C tier. It adds a 1 power, is it 1 power or 2 power? Raptor to each location. If you have Carnage, it's fun, but other than that, it's annoying. Sewer System, it's the same as Necrotia and Negative Zone. I honestly like it less because I don't like negative cards at all, but at least with like Necrotia where it's or Negative Zone where it's -3 power, if I have a Hobgoblin or Green Goblin, then it's super fun. 1 power buff for the Sewer System with those cards, it's just not worth enough. It's just annoying. Shadowland, C, add a -2 ninja to each side for both players. It's inoffensive enough, and if you have Carnage, it's fun, but other than that, it sucks. Shuri's Lab, A tier. After you play a card here, it doubles their power. Super fun. It can be annoying if you're playing against like freaking Red Skull Taskmaster and you just get screwed, or like a Venom. I play Venom's deck, so I think it's a lot of fun. Or just playing like a Gamora and landing it, and now you got a 24 power, green skinned, freaking mommy, dummy, thick, sexy AF alien waifu. I'm not into anime, but I feel like people say waifu. Does that qualify? Does that count as a waifu? I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know is doubling my power is fun. When power number go big, the dopamine go up. Sinister Location. After you play card here, add a copy of it to another location. Super fun, especially when you're playing epic cards. Getting 2 of them spread out on the board is so awesome. That's A tier for sure. I put an A tier like here. I get so happy when Sinister London. Sorry, I misspoke before. I get happy when that shows up. Sokovia, discard a card from each player's hand. Again, it's another one of those like freaking RNG locations where if you have a really important card get discarded and they discard a useless card, it really sucks. I'm gonna go D tier. Baxter Building. Whoever's winning this location gets +3 power at all locations. Really fun, high B location, because if you lose it, nothing bad happens to you, but if you win it, you get a buff at all locations, but not a major buff, just a solid buff, and that's fun. B tier. Start Tower. After turn 5, all cards here get +2 power. Really cool location. It's a less fun version of Murier, I don't know how you say M Island. M Island, there's like some strategy to it because you got to get cards there as fast as possible for the maximum benefit. Start Tower, though, you just got to get cards there by turn 5, but it can be really fun. It's an A tier location for sure. Starlight Citadel, after turn 4, swap the position of each location. Hard to predict, kind of RNG based because you got to play cards predicting what's going to move where. It's not super offensive, so it's C tier, but it can be annoying. Strange Academy, at the end of turn 5, move all cards here to another location. It's fine, it's C tier. It's a higher C tier because it's not on the annoying side, but it's not good enough to be like a, oh, that can be fun kind of a thing. Subterranea, shovel 5 rocks into each deck. F. I never want random bullcrap rocks in my deck. Get the flip out of here, bro. The Bifrost, after turn 4, move all cards 1 location to the right. It's whatever. Good for movement decks. Kind of annoying for everything else, but it's not that bad. C tier. The Big House, it's the exact same thing as Crimson Cosmos, except you can't play 4, 5, or 6. If you have a lot of low cost cards, it's fun, but or if you find a way to cheat a high cost card there, they're like movement or something, it's cool, but D tier. The hub, add a random card to each player's hand, B tier. It's old enough. You get one random card added to your hand. It doesn't replace your whole deck with random cards. It doesn't force you to have a random card at a certain location when your opponent randomly can get a better one. You get a random card that you can add to your strategy for the game. That's fun. The ice box. A random card in each player's hand gets +1 cost. Freaking annoying, D tier. The Nexus. I love the Nexus, bro. It's just get as much power as possible to one location and you freaking win, bro. Might be my favorite location in the game. It's a little bit cheese, but nothing feels better than when I'm stacking Null, Death, a Fat Venom, whatever the flip I want to add to freaking Nexus. I know I was speaking about like just a Venom Destroy deck, but you can have Odin with like Wong and Gamora. Just any way you can add a ton of power to one spot. It's so fun, bro. Nexus is so fun. The Peak. I don't like the Peak. It can be good, but I rarely play decks in which it is good. I'm going to go top of D. Each card in your hand swaps its power and cost. It can be really good, but I rarely play decks that works with. Camp Lehigh, add a random 3-cost card to each hand. It's like the hub, but it's definitely a 3-cost. It's fun. The Raft. I like the Raft. The first player to fill this card gets a free 6-cost card added to their hand. So you get the power of like a Hulk or any 6-cost card, but you get to play it for free. All you got to do is fill up the location first, and that's fun. The Sacred Timeline. The first to fill that location gets, I think, a copy of their starting deck, which is like whatever, but I don't really care. See, sure. The Space Throne. You can only have one card here for each player. Again, it sucks if you play a weak card at a unrevealed location and then that pops up, but it's interesting. It's C though. It's not really fun. It is fun though. You gotta like play your most power card there if you want to win it most of the time, but it's annoying. Superflow I actually really like. It's A tier. If you don't have any cards at this location, you get +1 power each turn, +1 energy each turn. Having +1 energy each turn is a freaking lot of fun to play around with. It's another one of those locations, like a lot of them are, where if you play a card there before it's revealed, you're like, ugh. Because there are some locations that's like if I get Jotunheim turn 1, I'm like, okay, cannot play cards there. I have to play at an unrevealed location, and then I pull something like this up, and you're like, why, God, why me? It's so annoying. But when you can get Superflow to work, it's a lot of fun. It's always fun to have more energy, play more cards. It's fun. The Triskelion. Fill each player's hand with a random card. C tier. Again, the random aspect, it's one of the locations where it does have the random aspect to it, but it's less offensive than like a District Dex. The Vault. Cards cannot be played here after turn 5. So on turn 6, you cannot play cards here. So you gotta finish the location by turn 5. It's interesting enough. It's not fun enough that I put it in B, but it's like a solid C tier. It's not too bad. Throne Room. Cards here with the highest power have their power doubled. This could be a lot of fun. Get the highest power card here, and it doubles to the moon, and it's fun to see a fat card go to like 70 power. It's fun. Tinker's Workshop. It's a less good version of Project Pegasus, so it's not as fun, but it's decent enough. B tier. You get +1 power for the turn, +1 energy for the turn. Titans. 6-cost cards cost 1 less. Always fun for cards that cost less. Getting the potential to play 2 6-cost cards is awesome. Solid B tier. The TVA at the end of turn 4 in the game. I'm actually gonna go B tier for this. It can suck, but it's really fun to try to just win the game in 4 turns, because that is a quick game. And you gotta really try hard. Like, you really just have to like focus. Really, the way you win TVA is I just have to focus one location for a minute and then try to sneak a location with 4 energy on the last turn, and it can be fun. Central Park, add a squirrel to each location. D tier. It's so annoying when those get in the way. Even if you can handle it, like with a Destroy deck, it's so annoying. D tier. Vibranium Mines. It's like adding the rocks, except it's rocks that are 4 power and can't be destroyed, which can be good, can be bad. It's C tier. It's, again, annoying to have random cards added to your deck just for trying to play a card at a location, but at least the rocks you're getting are usable. Vormir, the first card played here, is destroyed. I actually don't mind this one that much. I like it more than like freaking, what is it? Morag. It's like, it's got the same vibe as Morag, but Vormir I like handling better. Wakanda. Cards here can't be destroyed. The amount of times this has popped up when I play at an unrevealed location with my destroy deck is way too freaking dang high, and that's annoying, but other than that, it's really fun. If I'm playing Thanos deck, I can play Power Stone here and not risk it being destroyed and ruining my freaking Thanos buff. And I can play it here without having to worry about Shang-Chi. It's an anti-Shang-Chi location. Okay, that's it. S tier. Just kidding, but it's solid. It's B tier. Wakandan Embassy is really fun. That's an A tier location. All cards in your hand get +2 power. Only thing that sucks is if you have Green Goblin or Hobgoblin or a card like that you want to have low power, but it's fun. Warrior Falls. At the end of each turn, cards here fight. Sounds cool. It's not. It's really not. It's really not. It's D tier. I kind of wanted to say C tier. It's D tier. I don't like Warrior Falls at all. Washington, D.C. Cards here with no abilities get a buff. I think that's cool. Give the cards with no ability some love. B tier. Weird World. Oh my balls. It's like District X but worse. F minus. Ugh. Weird World is like, so you draw from your opponent's deck. I think it's District X but worse. At least District X, you're both getting random cards. A Weird World is, I like it less. Westview, at the end of turn 4, it turned into a random location. It's late in the game to have to figure out how to strategize a new location because you only get 2 turns to work with, and it can really screw up what you've already got cooking there. So it's annoying. I'm going to go D. World Ship. Destroy the other locations. It's freaking Galactus in a location. It feels like such a rare location. I feel like I see this location less than any other location. It feels like the rarest location. So in that sense, when it pops up, it's like, oh shoot, whoa. But at the same time, it freaking sucks. So, D tier, I'm sorry. I think it's cool, but it's D tier. And our last location for our tier list is Xandar. Cards here have +1 power. Solid B tier, fun enough. It's fun to have +1 power. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our Marvel Snap locations tier list. That was a hefty one, but it was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed listening to my thoughts on all the locations. Do you have anything that you strongly disagree with? Let me know. I feel like it could happen. I feel like a lot of the way I like to play is typically high volume, high power, high cards, numbers go big. I like that. A lot of people like a different play style. So I am a little bit more biased towards locations that typically benefit my play style, but I also have played enough different decks with different play styles that I know which ones are really annoying if you're not playing the specific deck that the location caters to. But let me know your thoughts. Do you think it was a good list? Do you think it was a horrible list? What would you put in S tier or A tier that I had lower? Let me know. I can't wait to hear your thoughts, but I'm gonna go ahead and end it off there. Sorry, you either skipped through the Fortnite locations. I don't know. Maybe differing views. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I had a lot of fun doing the Marvel Snap tier list. I hope you enjoyed watching it too. I'm gonna catch you later. I'm so tired. I'm gonna lose my voice. I've been talking so profoundly, so loudly, so proudly for so long. This is a 6-hour stream coming up on. I'm gonna have a lost voice tomorrow. I am so tired. I gotta go get a snack. I'm starving. I'm gonna end it there. Thank you so much for watching. I can't talk. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna catch you later. Peace out. Mwah.